Okay, we're going to do a last walk around on the vehicle. Look for stuff that we changed, look for stuff that we forgot. So the first thing that comes to mind is when you're doing this connection, you got to drill through with a step drill so that the bolt comes through to this side. You got to use a 2-inch bolt, not a 2.5-inch bolt, so that you come through. We're using a stainless steel star on the inside for a lock washer. We ended up having to pry the back of the frame apart. We're at 39.5 on the frame, and 39 3/8 was the size that we had. It looks like this weld is twisted this way. The suspension lines up at the back on this side, lines up on the bottom over here, and then the rest of it lines up where it is. You drill through the bolts where they line up on the 4-inch tube. Right now we have a gap, an 1.25-inch gap at the front of the module, because that's just not how the bolt together frame fits. So we may have to put a spacer in there for the WIKISPEED team, so that they don't have to relearn that. Again, front suspension lines up with the front of the tube, lines up with the bottom of the tube, and then everything else gets lined up with the bolts as they're done. We did some measurements here for the brackets. We're looking at about 14.25 from this side, and I think it's 13.5 from this side. I think about 13.5. Again, they line up on the bottom here. This bow tie with the pedals on it, pedal plate on it, lines up on the sides. It does not line up on the top. Has about, I would say, 1 inch on the top. Wherever my tape measure went, there it is. About 1 inch on the top. The brake lines we just have duct taped in place right now. We weren't able to purge them, right?
I don't think they finished purging.
I don't.
There was a bit of a leak there.
There was a leak, right? When they found the leak, that's when we called it off. We have approximately 8.5, 9 inches between this bracket and the steering wheel. A total of 9 inches from the support. This support is horizontal. It should be at a bit of an angle, like this. Maybe 1.25 inch under the back here, so that it tilts up. This lever will let it drop down, but it won't go up any higher. The brake is okay. The accelerator, we had to put a 4-inch tube to stand it off so that it worked with the floor. The floor right now is on the bottom. We'll have to check how that's done on the interior. I expected the interior to come along here, along this edge, and to fit flush on the inside. And the seats would be on rails that are inside the interior, obviously. I believe that this support stays. What else? We got the mounts for the windshield. We got the lights. We got the light buckets. We got the covers. We got the tail lights. We tried interfacing to the the speed reference on the Kelly controller, and it doesn't like the signal coming from the Hall effect. We're not sure why exactly. We might have to come up with some sort of an isolator. For now, this pot works. We can get a $60 pot box to replace that accelerator, and that will be fine. The charger is working fine. The controller appears to be working fine. DC to DC converter. We've got the RPM limited to about 3,000 right now on the controller. It will go higher, but we limited it because it doesn't need to go any higher. And it starts to make a bit of a howling noise when you get above that. The batteries are in good shape. Straps are strapped down. And I don't believe that there's anything else to discuss. If we have an idea of where the holes are going to be cut or the vents are going to be cut, it would be nice to get the pattern done. There's some air that's going to need to be redirected to the back, the motor area. We've got a bunch of the parts, the tools are still sitting in here. Maybe that's the only place where the air comes in. So I would say that we are closer to 13 inches, maybe 14 inches for how far the middle of the axle is from the back of the frame. And the total height, I'm gonna say 5.5 was pretty close. Okay, putting the body back on the WINNISPEED car, we are running into an interference with the electric motor module frame, where it is wanting to sit on top of the electric motor module top rail, I guess. In order for the holes to line up for putting the body on, we need to be about here, which looks to be about 1.25 inches of interference. So we're going to have to address that.